Tokyo is the largest city in the world. 37 million people live in the greater Tokyo metropolitan area. Every day, millions communicate, eat, millions generate waste, millions use electricity. If cities are responsible for over 70% of global carbon emissions, then a city of this scale should be an environmental disaster. And yet, Tokyo isn't. Tokyo is often described as one of the most efficient cities ever built. People rarely drive, public transport moves millions a day, apartments are small, infrastructure is incredibly dense. So the question is, can a megacity really be sustainable? Or does a city this large inevitably consume too many resources? To find out, we need to break Tokyo down into the systems that actually determine sustainability: transportation, energy, waste, urban density, and the hidden environmental risks of living in a megacity. Because Tokyo might reveal something important about the future of cities. Tokyo isn't just large, it's in a completely different category. The Tokyo metropolitan area has roughly 37 million people, making it the largest, and stations like Shinjuku, the busiest train station on Earth. Millions of people commute daily on these methods of transportation rather than using their cars. As a result, the car ownership in central Tokyo is far lower than most of the major capitals around the world, and the effects of this are enormous. Public transport systems enable the movement of people far more efficiently with less energy per person compared with private vehicles. High-density rail transports dramatically reduces traffic congestion, land use for highways, and transportation emissions. In many ways, Tokyo demonstrates one of the most powerful sustainability principles. Density plus public transportation equals efficiency. But transportation is only one part of the sustainability equation. Tokyo's sustainability also comes from something a little less noticeable: how the city itself is built. Compared to other Western cities, Tokyo is built in a completely different manner. It has smaller apartments, mixed-use neighborhoods, walkable districts, high building density. This has several environmental benefits. Smaller living spaces means less energy to heat, cool, and light. Mixed-use neighborhoods enables people to walk to stores, access services nearby, and generally reduce travel distances. And dense infrastructure allows cities to share resources more efficiently. For example, instead of individual houses needing large amounts of land and infrastructure to function every day, dense cities share roads, infrastructure, utilities, energy networks, and transportation systems. In many ways, density is one of the most powerful sustainability tools any city can have. But Tokyo's environmental story becomes a little more complicated when we start looking at electricity, and especially energy. Despite its efficiencies in urban planning and transportation, Tokyo still relies heavily on energy systems that are not fully sustainable. Japan imports a vast majority of their energy resources. After the Fukushima nuclear disaster of 2011, the country shut down most of its nuclear power plants. To replace that energy, Japan started importing a lot of external forms of energy under the form of liquefied natural gas, coal, and oil. This means that although Tokyo is sustainable and efficient in how they use the energy and their electricity, where that energy comes from is not yet fully sustainable. And the source of where that energy comes from still really matters. Despite this, renewable energy adoption is growing in Japan, particularly solar, but they are facing a few major constraints. First of all, land in Tokyo is somewhat scarce. Not to the extent to which Singapore, but as well nowhere near the amount of space countries such as in the European Union or the Americas or other places around the world have. Limited land, high population density, and energy import dependence. So while Tokyo reduces emissions in their efficiency, the energy mix remains obstacle to full sustainability. Another interesting aspect of Tokyo's sustainability is waste. Visitors often notice something strange about Tokyo. There aren't very many bins. Yet, the city still remains very clean. Waste management in Japan relies still heavily on sorting systems and strong cultural norms around cleanliness. Households must separate their waste into certain categories such as burnable waste, plastics, recyclables, large items, etc. Much of Tokyo's waste is actually incinerated, kind of similar to what's going on here in Singapore. And although this does reduce space in the landfill, burning waste itself produces a lot of emissions. And like many wealthy cities, Tokyo also consumes enormous amounts of imported goods from other countries around the world, which raises an important sustainability question. Are we only measuring the emissions produced inside the city, or the holistic impact to sustain the city's lifestyle? Megacities also face unique environmental risks. Tokyo sits in a region which makes it prone to earthquakes, tsunamis, flooding, and severe temperature rise. The city has invested massively into climate resilience infrastructure, including massive underground flooding tunnels to prevent catastrophic flooding. But climate change could and most probably will increase not only the frequency, but the severity and the impact of these extreme weather events. This means that Tokyo's sustainability is not only about reducing emissions, it's also about adapting to environmental risks. So, is Tokyo sustainable? Well, the answer is complicated. Tokyo shows how cities can dramatically reduce their environmental impact through high density, public transport, and efficient infrastructure. But it also highlights the limits of urban sustainability. Even highly efficient cities still depend on energy systems, global supply chains, and national policies. Tokyo may not be perfectly sustainable, but it does illustrate an important idea. Large cities are not necessarily environmental problems, and in many cases may even be part of the solution in moving towards a greener future. As the world becomes more urbanized, more and more people will move towards cities like Tokyo. Understanding how these megacities work could help the future of sustainability, as we understand what works, what doesn't work, and what we can do to ensure the highest level of success. Because the real question isn't, can Tokyo be sustainable? Instead, it's what can we learn from Tokyo, which we can then bring and apply to cities all around the world to help them too become more sustainable. Hopefully you learned something new today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.